Welcome and thank you for watching The Lord of Dragons, guys. House of the Dragon Season 2 is coming up June 16th. It's just a little over a month away, and I know you guys are excited because I know that I'm excited. They've really turned the story into something great. They really turned it into something else by bringing in the prophecy of a song of ice and fire, and that is the main topic of today, though we are going to talk about a few of the differences coming up this season between the book and the show, and maybe some from the past. We'll see. It's going to be great, though. So, Jacaerys Velaryon / Targaryen has been given the job of going to the Eyrie and then up to Winterfell to see Lord Cregan Stark. And it's going to be amazing. And we're told that there might be a cold open in one of these episodes, maybe the first one, with Cregan Stark. And that's going to be our introduction to Cregan Stark, is a cold open. That's what I'm hearing. So that's going to be amazing. And that's going to be before Jace gets there. But once Jace gets there, that's what I want to talk about. Before Jace left, did Rhaenyra tell him about the prophecy of a song of ice and fire? And if not, we could ask ourselves, is it possible that Lord Cregan Stark already knows about the prophecy himself? Did his ancestors get told by Jace's ancestors? Did somebody like Aegon Targaryen maybe tell Torrhen Stark about the prophecy? Or somewhere in between. So, when he gets there, are the two of them going to discuss the prophecy? And if so, I think that's where we're going to get a great revelation. When we watch Game of Thrones, one of the biggest catchphrases was, "There must always be a Stark in Winterfell," and we never learned where the phrase came from or what the phrase meant. But I think we're going to learn in House of the Dragon, because I believe it was Cregan Stark who made the declaration that there must always be a Stark in Winterfell. I think he's going to make that declaration this season, Season 2. I think we're going to see it on screen. It's going to be awesome. And speaking of shows coming up, we know the Dunk and Egg show's coming up, Night of the Seven Kingdoms. And, you know, there's some characters from Game of Thrones, mainly Aemon Targaryen, Maester Aemon. Now, he would have been a little boy during the events of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. And in Game of Thrones and in the books, when we see Maester Aemon dying, he is saying, egg, mother's looking for you. I'm wondering if we're not going to see that scene play out in the new Night of the Seven Kingdoms Dunk and Egg show, where we see a young Maester Aemon and his mother looking for Aegon. That would be awesome. And I know some of you even talked about some of our Game of Thrones characters coming back for House of the Dragon, like Melisandre. Could it be? She was definitely most likely alive during the events of House of the Dragon. Will she show up? It'd be interesting. It would be awesome. I don't know. One of the things we saw at the end of Season 1 was an offer from the Greens to Rhaenyra, and in the book they make it look like Aegon made the offer to Rhaenyra, And we know in the show his mom was trying to get him to do that, but ultimately it was Otto who brought the offer to Dragonstone, and Rhaenyra said that King's Landing will have their answer on the morrow. What do you think Rhaenyra was going to do before Lucerys was killed at Storm's End? Her father wanted her to hold the peace, hold the realm. Do you think she would have agreed to the terms? Do you think she would have waited around to see which lords backed her up, like what Jace found out? Do you think she would have wanted to see what the small folk said, how they reacted to Aegon being made king? What would Rhaenyra have done, being as the prophecy of ice and fire was her main concern, holding the realm like her father wanted to? Now in the books, that's a little different. In the books, they make Rhaenyra sound like she very much coveted the Iron Throne. That at one point her father told her if she didn't marry Sir Laenor, that he would give Aegon the throne, and that Rhaenyra fell to her knees and begged Viserys to keep her as his heir. But that's not really the Rhaenyra we see in the show. And speaking of Sir Laenor wasn't knighted in the books until a fortnight before their wedding, because it was only proper for the heir apparent to be a knight. So when he says in the show, "I'm a knight," it's kind of funny because it's not so much like that in the books. And when their marriage is proposed, really it's Sir Laenor who has the biggest problem with it. And obviously we know that his lover, Joffrey, dies a different way in the books. Another funny difference is in the show that we saw last season, there's a point where Rhaenyra tries to marry Jace to Helaena, to marry her son to Alicent's daughter. And Viserys thinks it's a wonderful idea. And in the show, Alicent says, "No, that's not going to happen over my dead body." It's a lot different in the book. In the book, it is Alicent who proposes the idea that Helaena and Jace marry, because Alicent desperately wants to get her blood, her kin, on the Iron Throne, and Viserys knows that. And because Viserys knows that, he refuses to agree to the match of Jace and Helaena, and he tells his hand, Lionel Strong, that, and that's here in the books. There's also been some theories about Lionel Strong being part of the conspiracy, since he was training to be a maester at one point before he was sent up to King's Landing. Interesting thought. I have a different theory. I think the Hightowers play a huge role in this, because at this time in the realm that the show takes place, the Dance of the Dragons, during that time, the richest house in the realm is House Hightower, okay? Now we know from Game of Thrones that the richest family always wants to be on top of power. That's what the Lannister family was trying to do in Game of Thrones. And we know that House Castamere tried to get more powerful than the Lannisters, and they destroyed the house. They eradicated the house. So in the House of the Dragon, during the Dance of the Dragons in that time period, are the Hightowers because they're the richest family, trying to be the most powerful family as well, and are they being supported by the Citadel and the people of Old Town, the Maesters? It's a thought. And you see how much Otto Hightower doesn't like Corlys Velaryon. Well, the Velaryons were also one of the richest families at this time in Westeros. At one point, they were the richest family because of all the goods they were trading from around the realm and around the world. And so, maybe the Hightowers also disliked the Velaryons because of how rich they were. They did support House Lannister quite a bit, who at the time was second or third richest house in the realm. So you can see maybe there's a slighter, deeper plot going on there between not just the Maester plot, but maybe a House Hightower plot. And maybe we'll see that play out a little bit more here in Season 2. Some of the other interesting book differences, a lot of the ages are quite odd. Rhaenyra is only 7 years old when this all begins in the books. And Alicent's 18 years old. There's an 11-year gap. In the show, they make it look like they're the same age, best friends, they hang out together like teenagers. It's not quite like that. In the books, Alicent plays more of a motherly role to Rhaenyra after Queen Aemma dies. Alicent tries to kind of be the more stepmother role, but Rhaenyra's not having it, and they just don't ever get along whatsoever. The enmity just keeps growing and growing. And so there's an 11-year gap, and Sir Criston Cole, he's 23 when all this starts, so he's about 16 years older than Rhaenyra. Well, Rhaenyra's got this total crush on Criston Cole, and that's how he kind of gets his job as her protector. And in the books, the fun thing about this is when you read the book, you're getting 3 different views. You're getting, I think, some mushroom views. You're getting, I think, some Septon Barth and Septon Eustace, and maybe Grand Maester Runcitor, I think, because I think another difference there is when the story starts on the show, Mellos is the Maester. In the books, he hasn't become the Maester yet, because I believe it's Runcitor who's still alive. And Maester Runcitor dies the same year that Harold Westerling dies. And that's when Sir Criston Cole takes over as captain of the King's Guard or whatever. And so, there's some differences there, but the cool thing about the show is we're getting the real answers. If you've read the book, you get maybe this happened, maybe that happened, or maybe this happened. You don't know. Watching the shows is where you get your kind of answers, and I think that's really a cool way to do it. It's exciting. And so in the books, though, you don't know what happens. You know that something's going on between Rhaenyra and Daemon. According to Mushroom, it's pretty dirty, it's pretty solicitous. And that maybe even Mushroom's involved in this thing where Uncle Daemon's teaching his young niece how to properly pleasure a man, or properly maybe pleasure Sir Criston Cole, how to be a real woman. We don't really know what happened. We know that Viserys found out about it and was not happy. we know that Daemon did try and ask Viserys to give her over to him, and that Viserys took it as Daemon still wanting to get power, because in the books, Daemon's not very happy when Aegon and Helena and Aemond are born, because that puts him lower in the line of succession, and he doesn't want to keep going down in succession. He's already not happy about being replaced as the heir to the throne by Rhaenyra, but he loves Rhaenyra, so he's not gonna, he's not gonna fight it too much. It mainly appears like he's targeting Rhaenyra, that if he ends up with Rhaenyra, he doesn't have to worry about his line in succession. So, however this happens, it's said that maybe Rhaenyra goes and tries to show Criston Cole what she's learned, and that he refuses because of his honor, and that Rhaenyra gets angry, or that it does happen, and but Criston Cole wants to take her to be a spice merchant, which you can see he's still pretty butthurt about. When you see the season 2 trailer, he's going full out, we're going to have a war because I'm butthurt that the queen-to-be didn't want to go to Essos and be a spice merchant with me. So whatever happens, he decides that he's going to go over to the Greens. He's going to go over to Alicent. Alicent kind of takes him on. I think whatever happens when the tourney happens, that's when Criston Cole takes Alicent's favor, and that's the day he goes crazy and beats everybody, and beats Joffrey Lama so bad that he lingers for like 6 days before he dies. And that's the official Criston Cole becoming a Green. And so it's really odd. And another difference in the show, you can see that Laena appears to be much younger than Rhaenyra, like 5 years younger, but she's actually in the books 5 years older than Rhaenyra. Why they changed that in the show, I really was not sure. Never understood that, but they made Laena younger for whatever reason. And there's some differences there too, like Rhaenys is kind of part of pushing her to marry the king, and which makes you wonder, because it's really Corlys that's after the throne. You hear Rhaenys kind of saying, "It's you, Corlys. It's you that wanted me to sit the Iron Throne." Well, again, there's that. I'm one of the richest houses in Westeros. Now I just need the power, and if I've got the money and the power, then I've got it all. Then I've got it, the Iron Throne and the money, and so there's a lot of that going on in Westeros. That's what a lot of these stories seem to be about. Oh, did I miss any other big differences? And if you guys haven't read Fire and Blood yet, try it. You've only got about 30, 40 days, 50 tops before season 2 starts, but I read it again before season 1 started, because, man, I was like, it's such a good book, and of course it covers more than just the Dance of the Dragons. It covers from Aegon's conquest all the way up through, I think, the very end of the Dance of the Dragons. And I'm not gonna spoil that too much for you. It's all in here, what happens throughout the dance, after the dance. It's going to play out great on the show. I know a lot of people aren't happy about them turning it down to 8 episodes per season. I'm not either, but I think now I can kind of see where they're going with the storyline, like, and I'm thinking it's going to be about 4 seasons long at least, so I think they're doing it to divide the story right, and then to where they have 4 seasons set out right. And a lot of you probably know what's going to happen in season 2, where it's going to end. I have a good feeling about that too. And then I think we'll pick up season 3 with Rhaenyra on the Iron Throne, and we'll get to see her for a little while run King's Landing. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully that's not too much of a spoiler what's to come, but it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome. But the main thing, and another thing I wonder is, did Alicent know about the prophecy of A Song of Ice and Fire? Because when they're on the boar hunt, Viserys is kind of talking to her about it in the show, and he's saying, I didn't know I'd have more children. But he was really drunk, okay? He had been hitting back the drinks. I don't know if she knew what he was talking about, but you gotta wonder, she raised her children to believe that Rhaenyra, their sibling, would kill them if she ever took the Iron Throne. And you gotta wonder, why the hell did she raise her kids like that? I mean, she turned her children into the very thing she didn't want them to become. Is it all because of a dislike for Rhaenyra? And, the show kind of makes it look like Rhaenyra gets whatever she wants, and Alicent's kind of jealous, but I think it's more than that. I think Rhaenys has it right when she says, have you never imagined yourself on the Iron Throne? I bet she has. You have, Alicent Hightower. You know you have. I really like Rhaenys as a character. She's very cryptic, the way she talks. I love the season 2 trailer. You get the cryptic Rhaenys line, and you get the butt hurt, Sir Criston Cole, and Otto's gone full psycho. The path now is one of violence. Otto's lost it, and Daemon's gonna burn everything. That's Daemon's plan. So, God, it's gonna be awesome. I hope this video isn't too short. We're gonna make more of these, but just some of the things I have to discuss, getting in a little bit of what happened last season, trying to find out who knows about this prophecy. How's it going to stay alive when the Dance of Dragons is over? What do you think about what Rhaenyra was going to do about the Green's offer? What if she had said yes? What if she had said no? Who do you think would have drawn first blood if Aemon hadn't have interfered and let his dragon Vhagar eat Lou? Speaking of the dragons, there's a real interesting bond there, the way that works. Before they get on their dragons, you'll see them talk to the dragons in Valyrian like they're almost connecting to their dragon, like a Wi-Fi, before they hop on the dragon. It's almost like, how in Warging, when Bran will take Hodor, it's almost like the dragons warging back to the dragon rider, and they're meeting in the middle. They're not warging one another. The dragon's not warging the rider's not warging the dragon, but they're connecting. The truth is, maybe Vhagar did what Vhagar did because Vhagar knew that Aemon really wanted to kill Lucerys, and that's what she did. Was she going off of Aemon's feelings, or was she just pissed because Arrax tried to set her on fire, which was something that Lucerys couldn't control. So during that issue, none of them really had full control over their dragons. They lost control. How do you think that works? How do you think that bond between dragon and dragon rider works to where, like in Game of Thrones Season 5, when Dany's in the pit, and she's about to die, and her friends are about to die, and here comes Drogon. He knew she was in trouble. He knew she was in need of him, and he came. So how does that work? Is it like how twins talk about how they know what the other one's feeling in another place? I mean, my dog here, he's sleeping, he's being good. I think I know what he's thinking sometimes. It's like a dragon bond. Nonetheless, guys, we're going to have lots more of these videos to come here on my channel, Lord of Dragons. Season 2 is on its way. We'll do some catch-up videos before it gets here, talk about Season 1 a little bit, and we'll get ready for Season 2. We'll bring you all the latest as it comes, and we'll be talking about the episodes as they air, and it's gonna be fun. But I've got to be able to go live when those episodes air, and to go live, I have to have 50 subscribers, so that's where I need you guys to help me out. If you like this video, please slap a like on it. And moreover, subscribe. I need you to subscribe if you like it. I won't bother you with the whole like and subscribe spiel forever, I promise. I badly just want to get to 50 subscribers so then I can go live, and we will go live all throughout Season 2 of House of the Dragon. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. There will be so many more to come. Get ready, get pumped, get excited. House of the Dragon Season 2 is on the way, and someday the winds of winter will come. But right now, it's time for the long summer. The sun shines out. Let's go enjoy ourselves like I'm about to do. I'll check you guys out later. I'm Jack. You're watching Lord of Dragons. Have a good day.